Hey all you groovy people, I had a pretty interesting thought the other day. Jason Todd, otherwise known as the Red Hood, presents a complex view of masculinity. His character's evolution reflects both positive and negative aspects of traditional masculinity. While I don't think that he's as great of a masculine role model as Nightwing, I still think there's some great things to talk about. Now, don't get me wrong, he has his faults. His quirky habit of killing criminals during his spare time probably complicates his dating life. But nonetheless, there's a lot of aspects to love about the character. In this video, I'm going to go over the positive and negative aspects of Jason Todd's masculinity, and hopefully after watching this video, you'll leave that toxic masculinity behind and embrace whatever it is that Jordan Peterson says men should strive to be these days.
And so if you're a male who's successful in a given hierarchy, the probability that you're going to have additional mating opportunities is exceptionally high. It's an unbelievably good predictor of that.
But before we move on, please be sure to give a like and subscribe to Reverb Comics. You do not want to miss out on our awesome content. Now, it's worth mentioning that I'm not going to get into this whole internet rabbit hole of toxic masculinity, the dating landscape, and whatever Andrew Tate is saying these days.
Watch Disney, don't have a sword. Don't walk around with a sword. That's what they want you to do.
But if this video helps you out with your dating life, then I'll gladly take credit for it. Now, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, so feel free to disagree with me on this, but in my opinion, I think that ladies love Jason Todd because of his protective nature. Now, there's a reason why that nice guys finish last statement is so common. It's common because ladies tend to gravitate to guys who can keep them safe in the face of chaos. That's why those vampire and werewolf shows are so popular to so many women. It's because it represents that timeless tale of Beauty and the Beast. From a woman's perspective, it's much better to have a man that's at least a bit of a monster as opposed to a guy that's not dangerous whatsoever. Because in the face of chaos, men who are somewhat dangerous can protect others. Now, when it comes to Jason Todd, there's a lot of positive and negative aspects to his protective nature. On one hand, he showed a lot of resilience and perseverance. Like or hate the guy, Jason's very tough in the face of adversity. The guy went through hell getting trained by Batman, and I imagine getting tortured and killed by the Joker and resurrected by Ra's al Ghul did quite the number on him. His attitude to keep on fighting despite the trauma and setbacks is really admirable. Despite what you think about Jason, he's definitely someone you'd want to have around in case shit hits the fan. Trust me, there's nothing worse than a friend who says he has your back in a fight but ditches you at the last second. Now, the downside of course is that he's too much of a monster. While Jason Todd has the strength and skills to protect others in the face of danger, you can definitely argue that he takes things way too far. In my opinion, his inability to see any redemptive qualities in a person is his biggest flaw. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some truly irredeemable people out there that need to be dealt with. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Jason is pretty quick to judge. After all, there are some Batman villains who at least kinda redeem themselves. Man-Bat used to terrorize Gotham at first because Kirk Langstrom gave in to his animal instincts when he started using the serum. But after a while, he gained control of himself and became more of an anti-hero. If Jason came across Man-Bat before he got rehabilitated and killed him, you can argue that it wouldn't be morally just to kill the guy. Hence, his inability to control himself is not something that's admirable. Now, personally, I don't blame Jason for his extreme behavior. The guy had a really rough life. He came from a dysfunctional family with addiction running in the household. Batman weaponized his childhood and put him in danger. Batman failed him when he got tortured and beaten by the Joker. And when he came back from the dead, he found out that he got replaced as Robin, his death wasn't avenged, and Gotham's criminals were still operating at large. In my opinion, his anger is justified. It's just his habit of letting his anger get the best of him that's problematic. Hence, while Jason Todd's immense physical and emotional resilience is very admirable, his habit of taking things too far is not. So there's a lot to learn from this. If you want to improve yourself as a man, get out there, build yourself, and gain a competitive edge so that you can get noticed. Just don't take it too far. If you want to get noticed by the ladies, you don't want to be too much of a nice guy or too much of a monster like Jason Todd or the other maniacs out there. Instead, it's best to be a monster and learn how to control it. That way you can actually protect the people you love and not harm them. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is the Red Hood's independence. Now, in my opinion, the Red Hood has some dark parallels to Nightwing. Like Dick Grayson, Jason Todd strives to prove himself independently. Of course, he'd be pretty similar to Nightwing if he dropped that nasty habit of killing people, but I'm going to put that point to the side for just a minute. Now, what's great about Jason's independence is that he's proved that he can stand on his own 2 feet and assert his own will. And these are very admirable masculine traits. If you want to be respected more as a man, you just can't be agreeable all the time. Your ability and willingness to stand up for yourself and express for what you do and don't agree with will definitely get you noticed. In my opinion, a man's ability to reasonably express his individuality is an underrated skill. After all, if you betray your sense of self, you'll certainly make yourself miserable. And if you make yourself miserable, you'll either take that misery out on others or yourself. Plus, if you're in touch with your individuality, you never know. You might be able to put a stop to the immoral collectivist tide. Okay, that last point might have been a stretch, but you get the point. Jason Todd reflects a certain level of masculinity through his independence. His ability to be self-sufficient, assert his own will, and express his individuality are fantastic traits. What's problematic about Jason Todd is his rejection of needing guidance and support. I kind of feel bad for Jason because out of all the Robins, he never got to work with the Titans. Technically, as an adult, he got to work with Arsenal, Artemis, Bizarro, and Starfire in those Outlaw storylines, but you get the point. When he was a kid, he never got to do those team building exercises with the Teen Titans. If he did, he might have been more open to leaning on others for support. Hence, another big flaw of his is his inability to work with others, listen to people, and gain constructive feedback. Now, I know I just said that his individuality is a great trait, and don't get me wrong, it is, but it's equally important to learn how to work alongside others. There's an old saying that if you think that everyone's problematic, chances are you're the problem. So fellas, take a note from Jason Todd. While it's great learning how to be self-sufficient, you gotta put yourself out there and work with others and accept constructive feedback. It's not ideal to have that lone wolf mentality your whole life. Instead, it's best to walk that fine line. You gotta figure out who you are as a person and healthily express your ideals and values. And at the same time, you gotta learn how to work alongside others. Working with others and lifting people up is a vital and underrated leadership skill that Jason Todd can't even do. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is Jason Todd's emotional honesty. Jason Todd's a very direct guy. When he doesn't agree with something or someone, he'll let you know. He's a guy that's very open about his feelings. Whether it's his frustrations with Batman's methods or his conflict over being abandoned, Jason doesn't shy away from saying what's on his mind. His emotional honesty challenges traditional views of masculinity that emphasizes stoicism. Now, on one hand, Jason Todd's unapologetic habit of expressing himself is pretty great if you think about it. After all, if you've been disrespected and you don't make people aware of it, well, that could lead to some bad outcomes. If there's a repetitive cycle of people treating you poorly and you don't get into the habit of expressing your honest emotions, you can run into the risk of letting the circumstances take an emotional toll on you. Trust me, the last thing that you want to do is explode like Will Smith did at the Oscars. So on one hand, Jason Todd's habit of saying what's on his mind is really great, but like I said earlier, he just takes things way too far. His inability to stop himself from acting on his intense emotions is what makes him so controversial. Personally, I think it's best for Jason to practice some stoicism sometimes. Another underrated aspect of Jason Todd is that, like or hate the guy, he takes responsibility. Sort of. He knows that he's controversial. He knows that not everyone likes him, and he knows he's not perfect. Now, what's important to take note of here is that he takes responsibility for his imperfections sometimes. He takes responsibility by being honest with people. What's admirable about Jason is that he's not lying about who he is to make other people happy. That, by the way, is a classic symptom of the nice guy syndrome. Jason Todd is a lot of things, but he is not a liar. He doesn't act like this two-faced social chameleon trying to fit in with the crowd. He shows up, tells everyone what he's gonna do, and he tries his best to get it done. Now, I said earlier that he sort of takes responsibility. Sure, he doesn't lie about who he is, but for a long time in the comics, he never tried to redeem himself, which is not great. On one hand, he takes responsibility by admitting his faults, but on the other hand, he doesn't do anything to improve himself. So fellas, take note of this as well. Learn the value of Jason Todd's honesty and his ability to admit his faults. Just try your best to improve yourself. Life's about mission and purpose. The last thing that you want to do is sit around in pride and take your hurt out on others. Take responsibility, admit your mistakes, and just do what you love. Move past your past, figure out your mission and purpose, and just do it. And chances are, things will work out for the best. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is Jason Todd's quest for redemption. In my opinion, something kinda awkward happened with him in the Rebirth continuity. He wanted to redeem himself, and after a short while, the Bat family just let him join the team. I guess they would have been hypocrites if they didn't let Jason try to redeem himself. After all, Jason killed the villain Spook, and he almost killed Tim Drake, and they still let him be Robin. So I guess they had to give Jason a chance. But awkward storytelling aside, Jason's commitment to try and redeem himself is really admirable. What I liked a lot was how tough it was for Jason to redeem himself. There was one time in the comics where Clayface impersonated him and framed him for murder, which I'm sure must have been a tough blow for Jason. He worked hard to gain everyone's trust, then someone framed him for murder, and all of a sudden, everyone was really quick to judge him. Now, things worked out, of course. Jason quickly got his name cleared after that, but I think how Jason handled himself in the face of this adversity was an underrated masculine trait. Listen fellas, let's face it, you're gonna make some mistakes at some point in your life. And when that time comes, not everyone will be forgiving. So when you start your journey towards redemption, you're gonna get some pushback like Jason. Now, this might sound harsh, but not everyone is gonna believe in you. So it's up to you to keep your composure and keep working towards being a productive member of society. Now, of course, Jason being Jason, he let his faults get the best of him. He got pretty mad that a drug dealer got Clayface to frame him for a murder, so he nearly killed the guy. And he probably would have if Nightwing wasn't there to stop him. So yeah, take note of this. It's easier said than done, but try to avoid what Jason did and just keep your composure when you're on your quest for redemption. So there you have it, folks. In my opinion, there's a lot of positive and negative traits associated with Jason Todd's masculinity. While his protective nature, independence, nonconformity, directness, ability to take responsibility, and his willingness to try and redeem himself is very admirable, his inability to work with others and let his intense emotions get the best of him is not. To be honest, I really wanted to do this video essay because out of all the Bat Family characters, he's the one that's most likely to do what Joel did in The Last of Us. Like or hate Jason, but if someone he loved was in danger, he would bury an army of people to keep him safe. But what do you think? Do you think Jason Todd is a great masculine role model? What do you think should be done with the character moving forward? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. As always, thanks a million for watching. Please be sure to give a like and subscribe to Favorite Comics so that you do not miss out on our awesome content. Stay groovy.